From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop Dibiase, the primetime capper. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. It is Thursday, the 24th of August, and the world is just spinning and spinning, and the days are just going and going, and man, it's just going. You know what I mean? So pretty much, we are here, and it is time for that show, the premier sports betting show. And let's go ahead and jump into our topic. And, it's college football coming up on Saturday and all that good stuff. And we got a lot of really good teams coming in for this season. We got a lot of teams that people don't even know are on the radar this year to be good teams. When we got teams this year that are seen as really good teams from, the last few years and everything like that, but they're going to fall off this year because sometimes it's just inevitable. You know what I mean? Hey, you might be bringing in a new coach. You might be losing a coach that pretty much had to prove himself this year. It's just a lot of things that play a big factor into this. And I just really feel like, sorry about that, got my horse racing going in the background as well too. Got to put it on mute. So we got the CFB mid-major 5 preview coming up today, and up first is the AAC preview. And in the AAC, you guys already know this is a brand new conference. Let's just keep it real. They have six new buddies there, but they lost 4 teams out the group as well too. So it's just a lot of it. Well, for right now it's 3, but I think I'm trying to figure, because they have 14 teams now in the AAC. The conference had 12 before that, so they lose 3 teams in the process. Okay, and that was Houston, Cincinnati, and UCF. And you know what? Happy trails, pretty much. You know what I mean? Because those teams had kind of stood out in both basketball and football since pretty much the inception of the conference. So pretty much them moving on, it's because what they've done in bowl games and things of that nature moving forward. So that's why they're where they're at now. But we bring in Charlotte, North Texas, UAB, UTSA. Also, they've brought in Florida Atlantic as well too. And there's another team on the tip of my tongue as well. And I know that they'll come up in a second. But all in all, that's what we're seeing there. We got Charlotte, FAU, North Texas. Rice is the other team that we're thinking about. UAB is going to be in the house, and UTSA is going to be in the house. So it's going to be 5 of them, actually. I said 6, but it's only 5. It's only 5. Okay, so sorry for that right there as well, too. So pretty much, no, they got 6 coming. I'm sorry, they got 6. So let's go ahead and we break it on down real quick. This is how I see things shaking out in this conference right now. As you can see, we have Charlotte under 3.5 this year. Charlotte, it's going to be tough because Charlotte, this AAC is a different conference. Even though most of their teams that they played against in the old Conference USA have came with them, still, it doesn't matter. It's going to be tough because the Memphises of the world, the Navies of the world, SMUs of the world, they're going to make this really hard on Charlotte this year. ECU, Eastern Carolina, is a team that's on the rise. This team is a team that you have to take very seriously. Over 5.5 wins. They look like a bowl team. They truly do. They look like a bowl team. They look like a 7-win team, in my opinion, and possibly a team that can make a run at the AAC title as well, too. Then we have FAU, Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic is coming over, and the Lane Kiffin era pretty much supplied this momentum for them to move forward to a bigger conference, bigger than the Conference USA, bigger than the Sun Belt. You have to see this school has really moved forward fast. Like literally, they've been in 2 different conferences over the last 10 years, and now they're entering the AAC. What's next? The SEC. So FAU, Florida Atlantic, is going to be good, but they're going to have to go through the rites of passage because they don't have the same roster that they had when they were in Conference USA with Lane Kiffin as the coach. And, the competition is stepped up. Let's keep it real. And then you have Memphis over 8. And Memphis is a stalwart this year. Memphis is a team that possibly can cheat the whole conference as well, too. I know that they'll have that Tulane game, but still, they're a team that really does look to win this conference once again. They can be the most dominant team in this conference if they want to be. That's the whole thing about Memphis. Memphis probably has the fastest players in the conference. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. You got Navy, the most disciplined team in the conference. And you know that they're going to be the most, redundant, the most obvious team that you go against every week in and week out. But I still got them going under 6.5. We got some better teams here that know Navy is going to be a tough ask for them. And I think Navy is going to go through the motions a little bit because they just don't have the horses right now. You know what I mean? Because usually they'll have 4 or 5 players that are really, 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 really good. And then the rest of everybody are just very good team players. So that's what happens with them. And then you have Rice. Rice is always going to be, hey, you know what? You guys are a really, really smart school. You guys have really good students there. But when it comes to actual athletics, you guys just really go ahead and field teams to entertain a fan base, your sports fan base. That's it. You shouldn't have expectations with Rice. And I think that they'll probably be able to build better as they move along, taking over as the Houston team, because that Houston has left for the Big 12. So I like Rice, and I like Rice in the future. I don't like Rice right now. And Rice is probably going to have to go through the motions, but they're going to be a better team later. They're going to be greater later. You know what I mean? They're going to struggle early and be greater later. That's how I'm feeling. SMU, under 8.5. SMU is a team that is very, very tricky. You don't know which team you're going to get. SMU can jump out and win the first 8-9 games of the season, then lose the last 3. That's what type of team this is. I can't trust it. I think this year they're going to regress just a little bit, even though the conference is very winnable now. Just let's keep it real. The conference is they're one of the top dogs now. You know what I mean? We'll put this Tulane, SMU, Memphis, top dogs in this conference, straight up. Those 3 right there, and they are holdovers from the last from what was their original AAC as well too. Also, you still have ECU there, so those are my top 4 teams in the conference. You have USF, who's crazy. You would think that South Florida would have left before Central Florida, because keep it real, South Florida used to be in the Big East of all conferences, and that was a big shocker in itself when they were invited to the Big East. You know what I mean? And they moved on to the AAC. They became one of the better teams in the conference for a short period of time, but they do have the capability of bringing in a very good team once they get some establishment there. Once they get to a good, stable coach there, they can really run the table here within the next 5 years. This year, they're going to just be building towards that. I think they're going to be a team that's going to play spoiler a lot. And when you go to South Florida, it's going to be an issue when you play them. So I like them a lot. I think they're going to be a better covering team than they are going to be a team actually winning games this year. But I do like the over 4.5 here in that spot. And Temple's a team that's always going to be kind of like, they're just like Rice, the great education, great history of smart people going there. But you being a really good football team, that's probably not going to happen. So going under 5.5 doesn't say they're going to be a bad team this season. It just tells me that they're going to be a middling team this season. So under 5.5 with that. We got Tulane over 9.5. Pretty much, I'm saying that Tulane should be a 10 win or better team this year. I expect them to be in the championship game this year as well, possibly playing against Memphis. And that just bodes well for a hell of a game, in my opinion. I think that Tulane, if they are able to actually sheet the season where they go out and actually go undefeated, this team has to be considered for the New Year's Eve Six. Once again, because they were a part of that group last year with USC, but they may need to be considered for the Final Four this year because they beat USC in a bowl game last year. They come back around. They go undefeated this year. It looks like the same script Cincinnati had a few years back. So we'll have to see. And then you have UAB. UAB is a team that's intriguing. UAB is the wild card, in my opinion. I think that UAB is a team that if they can get Trent Dilfer to get everybody, up to speed on how he's going to run this program and say they can get some instant impacts right away, I really can see a UAB maybe playing their way into the conference championship game. You never know. Then you got UTSA. They just turned the corner, okay? And they were a great team in Conference USA. I think they might be coming to the AAC a bit too soon, in my opinion. But they're ready from what they're saying, because it's crazy to me that San Antonio makes the leap, but El Paso stays back. But I totally understand because San Antonio is a growing city. El Paso is just the right before you get to Mexico. I totally understand that part. But UTEP has been a well more established Division I team for a very long time. And we all know that, when it comes to college basketball, they do own a national championship. So we'll have to see. But there's the under for UTSA this year, who are seen as one of the better teams in the conference this year. As you can see, that's a plus 135. Because they're seen as a team that can possibly win this conference. And I'm not taking that away from them, but this is not going to be like Conference USA. It truly isn't. So let's go ahead and let's look at who I have picked to be our champions of the AAC. And here it is. Memphis will be the team that I have winning the conference. Memphis is a plus 550, 5-1 on the 5-1, and really a 9-2. If we're at the racetrack, it's a 9-2 because 550 equals 11, and that is a 9-2 in betting terms. And then the favorite for the conference is Tulane with plus 165. You're getting value. You're getting good value in the AAC. But this is where I'm going with this right here. I'm taking Memphis as my conference champion in the AAC this year. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We will come back and revisit all this stuff at the end of the year. I want to do an end of the year. Hey, did we do it? Did we not do it? That good stuff. So with that, we'll go ahead and we move forward to our next topic in hand, and that's going to be this conference right here, and that's going to be the Conference USA. And Conference USA has kind of been stripped bare. You know what I mean? A little bare there, sir. But the thing is, though, they do have 4 teams on the way, or 4 or 5, 6 teams on the way. They're not coming till next year, though. That's the problem, because they had to fill in literally they had to fill the whole conference up. They lost 6 teams, okay? And then they lost Southern Mississippi a few years ago as well, too. So there's just it's Conference USA. This is probably the lowest you've seen the Conference USA